Good morning, everybody. Matt Moda here to give you my favorite NBA player prop picks today. We're talking today, Wednesday, March 5th. I'm going to have 5 NBA bangers for you guys to lock in for tonight's NBA betting slate. Only 2 of those 5 are plus money bangers because that's unfortunately just kind of how the board fell to me today. But I am very confident in the 5 plays that we have today. So I do feel pretty good about saying that the splash zone is back in your life and that we're going to see who's going to splash around and get us wet tonight. So that's what's on docket for tonight. Unfortunately, before we can get to those, we do have to do a recap from how yesterday went, which was not one of our best days. I gave out 5 picks yesterday. We only got 2 of those plays to cash. Thank you to Jarrett Allen and the points. And luckily, it didn't matter what line you took. You cashed out Jarrett Allen points or you cashed out Jarrett Allen points plus rebounds. Really, no matter what angle you went with in that Cavs game, you were able to cash out that Jarrett Allen prop. So luckily that one didn't matter, that I got a way better line than what everybody else got. And then we also cashed out Jackson Hayes rebounds. That one could have been a ladder because he got 10. A double-double would have been pretty juicy there, but I didn't bet it. I lost Damian Lillard assists. I really like that one. That was probably my favorite play on the board. Didn't even come close. Unfortunately, that happens. We lost Josh Hart rebounds. He had 6 at half. Ended the game with 8. So not even close, but I did think that we were on track at halftime. And then Wendell Carter Jr. rebounds. That one had legs. He had 6 not long into the third quarter, but then he picked up his 5th foul and basically never saw the court again. So that one also didn't really end up coming close. Kind of a frustrating day. Some bad reads, some bad luck. More bad reads than bad luck, if I'm going to be honest with you guys. So down a little bit less than a unit yesterday on the entire season. That now brings our profit. We are up 29 units on the year. Last year, March was when we had an amazing month. Let's hope we can continue that, or let's hope we can actually replicate that. It's been a good month so far. Granted, it's only we're 4 days into it. This is our 5th day of betting it, so it's too early to tell. But it has been a good month so far. Hopefully, we can not have what happened yesterday, cash some bangers tonight. And let's get into it. So sharing my screen here, we see Props Madness. Check them out if you haven't already. I put a link in the description of the video as well as the pinned comment. Props Madness is my favorite NBA betting tool. They are phenomenal. And then also if you could like and comment, subscribe, all that stuff helps out. So Heat versus Cavs. I do have a play in this one, an official bet, and then I also have some leans as well. I just kind of want to see who's playing. The Cavs are on the second half of a back-to-back, and they sat out Evan Mobley just to rest him last night. So I don't know if they're going to rest any of their main guys. So we'll have to see. The bet that I did lock in is Davion Mitchell, and I actually took him on the PRA. So not Donovan Mitchell, Davion Mitchell. So I have to say he's questionable. So if he ends up not playing, we just get this one refunded. No issues there. If he does play, I think this is an absolute smash play with Davion Mitchell. So he's been with the Heat. We're looking at games with Tyler Hero and Bam. Only like 7 games, which isn't that many. But we see he's gone over in 5 of those 7 games, actually averaging just about 18 points, rebounds, assists. So we got over, I should say, the line. This is what we bet. Over 14.5, minus 115 odds. No worries about line movement on this bad boy. You're getting the exact same bet that I got. If you don't use Bet365, I would still take it at minus 120, both at DraftKings and ESPN Bet. So hopefully that line is available for everybody. And yeah, the games he went over, he nuked the over with 18 minimum. One of the games he went under, he had 14, just would have given us the hook. And then he had a game where he only played 24 minutes, pretty gross game for him. That's clearly an outlier if you just look at the minutes. Every other game, 35, 34 with overtime, 34, and then the outlier 24, 37, 37, and 37. So normally we can rely on about 30 minutes. If you look at games in which he's played 30 minutes with the Heat, this game would get taken out and things would look a lot better. But 2 very, very important details here. Andrew Wiggins, out. I'm not sure how to pronounce this guy's name. I like to call him Kal-El because that's Superman's name. Also out. Now, he's never played a game with both of these guys out, right? Like if we take both out with Hero and Bam, never played. If we just take it without Andrew Wiggins, we see that he's gone over in both games, played 37 minutes in both of those games as well, nuked his PRA over. And what I really, really like is if you go to each individual category, points, he hit his over. Assists, he hit his over. Rebounds, he hit his over. Literally 3 of 3 categories, he went over what his prop was priced at. Now, if you look at the matchup against the Cavs, it's average. It's not the best matchup in the world. It's also not anything to be scared of. I mean, he scores almost half his points via spot up. The Cavs are a bottom 11, bottom 3rd spot up defense in terms of guards against them. Now, this is just looking at guards in general, not by similar scoring profile. 7 of 15 is a little bit below what we're looking for, but it's been 4 straight. I mean, the last 4 games, all 4 of the both of the guards in the last 4 games have gone over against him, including 25 from Kobe White yesterday. The assist is kind of the same thing. It's not amazing. A little bit better hit rate, 8 of 15, but again, 4 straight guards. So all 4 of those guards hit their point and assist prop against the Cavs in the last 2 games. Actually, Simons didn't, so they're counting an additional player in that Bulls game. In terms of the graph, again, it's hit or miss. Some places okay, some places not so okay. Nothing to be scared of. And then it's same thing with the rebounds. Generally, I like to target center rebound props against the Cavs, but it's actually a lot better with guards, 11 of 15. It's 2 of 4 in their last 4 games. Both Bulls guys did it yesterday. It's kind of hit or miss if you go down. A lot of this stuff was before the All-Star break, but I mean, a 7-game stretch where they all hit. It's not really a matchup play. It's just an increased usage without these guys in the lineup. Now, if he misses, that would be a bummer because I really like the play, and I maybe pivot to like Alec Burks or Duncan Robinson or something. But right now, this is the official bet, and if he ends up missing, then we'll have to pivot from there. But that's our first bet. Next up, I don't have anything in these next 2 games, but I do have something in this Jazz Wizards. Now, this game is a train wreck, which are also my favorite games to bet. So let's look at who is out for the Utah Jazz. Lauri Markkanen, out. John Collins, out. Colin Sexton, out. Jordan Clarkson, out. Walker Kessler, out. Their whole team, they're tanking. Their whole team's out. What I took for Kyle Filipowski, I took a double-double. So I didn't take points. I didn't take rebounds. I took a double-double. That's at plus 130 odds at FanDuel. So if you look at the points, he scored double. I mean, so it's been 2 games without all of these guys in the lineup. The most important thing here are the minutes. 36 minutes, 28 minutes. And he took 12 shots in that one game. So let's put his floor. Let's take all these guys in. Let's just put his floor at 28 minutes, right? Let's see how he's done in games in which he's played 28 minutes. Now, his over-under point prop of 13.5 doesn't look amazing. What's fine is that he scored 10 points in every single game except for one. One game he didn't. 5 of 9 from the free throw line's not bad, but only 2 of 5 from the field. That is bad. But 10 points in 7 of 8 games, averaging 13.8 points per game. That's good to go. The Wizards defense is a train wreck. You hover over the matchup here, you see a lot of green. 3rd worst defense in the NBA. 5th most points in the paint allowed. 4th fastest pace in the NBA. 9 of 15 guys with his position, which is kind of like a tweener forward center position, have gone over against the Wizards. From a play type perspective, I mean, 9th worst, 6th worst. NA, because the NBA.com doesn't give us this data. 2nd worst, 3rd worst, 7th worst. You have to go down to like his 7th play type to get somewhere where the Wizards defense is actually good. So that one feels good. Rebounds. So it's only been 4 of 8, which isn't amazing, averaging about 10 per game. I like to look at everything. So for this one, it's a little bit different. You look at his last 6 games. 2 of these games are in November, where he played 30 and 28 minutes. Now, he had 12 rebound chances in both those games. We would hope for a little bit more than that. If you look at everything in the new year, so we just look at his last 6 games from 2025 and on, it's a little bit better, averaging 10.7 rebounds per game. Granted, this 17 is doing a lot of damage, 17 on 20 rebound chances. The games he missed, 7 of 10, not great. 8 of 14, 14 is fine. But his rebound chances in these games is 15.5, which is pretty good. Again, doing a lot of work is this 20 rebound chance game. But again, this is all about the matchup. Now, the 6 of 15 doesn't look amazing from a rebounding perspective, but you hover over the matchup. Rebounds allowed, Washington Wizards, 30th, the most rebounds per game. Defensive rank versus position, meaning how do they allow rebound props to Filipowski's position? 4th most. They allow the 4th most rebounds to his position. And they're actually worse if you just isolate the center position, which is what Filipowski is going to end up playing. So he's going to play heavy minutes. There's nobody left on this Utah Jazz team. So their rookie first-round pick is going to get a lot of minutes, and he's going to have a lot of opportunity. And just from a odds perspective, I mean, betting on him to get 10 rebounds, minus 115. Betting on him to get his point prop, 13.5 with the over juiced. So like the books are telling us they think he's going to get both 10 points and rebounds. Obviously, the risk here is that we're essentially parlaying them, but I really like this one for Filipowski. That is our second bet. Next up, I have nothing in this Mavericks-Bucks game. I don't know what to do with either of those teams. I can't stop betting Dame assists, and I can't stop losing it. And the Mavericks don't even have a roster at this point. I have 2 bets in this Kings-Nuggets game. The first one is I took Jokic on the triple-double. So this is best offered at plus 105 odds at Bet365. So Jokic on the triple-double. I absolutely love this play. Now, Sabonis is out. That doesn't really impact how I feel about this game because they're just going to put in Valanciunas instead of Sabonis, and the matchup is the exact same, meaning very juicy for Nikola Jokic. He's played the Kings a couple times this year. 20 points, so we just need him to get to 10. That's fine. And 35. If he doesn't score 10 points, so be it. Really, we're betting on 10-plus assists and rebounds, right? So, the assists. 13 on 11 potential assists. Some wonky stat thing here. Either way, 13 assists is amazing. 17 on 23 potential assists. That's amazing. I mean, we just need him to get to 10. His over-under is 10.5, where some places having it at plus money. But if you go to the 9.5, that's juiced to the gills. So I love this one. The assist prop for Jokic. I mean, you look at it's only 4 guys, but it's the playmaking centers against the Nuggets, or excuse me, against the Kings, right? Şengün hit his assist prop in both games. Granted, he hooked the over, still counts as an over, and then Jokic just annihilated his assist prop over. And then from a rebounds perspective, again, his over-under is 12.5, over juiced to the gills on most books. 14 on 21, 22 on 25. That's insane. I mean, you're telling me he's going to get 20-plus rebound chances just for the fun of it? Let's see how many times he's gotten 10 rebounds on 20 rebound chances. That would be 32 of 34 games. 94% hit rate when he's gotten 20 rebound chances, which he's gotten in both games against the Sacramento Kings. And it's all about the way the Kings play defense, right? Like, they don't really have that great of on-ball defense. So they're like styles of defense, right? Teams kind of have to give up how they want to play. Even good defenses have to give up points somewhere. The Kings are not a good defense, and they give up points to stuff that leads to a lot of assists. Spot up, 30 out of 30, literally the worst spot up defense in the NBA. Pick and roll roll man. Now, pick and roll roll man. Now, Jokic isn't going to be the ball handler on pick and rolls, but they gave up the 10th most. Good matchup for assist props in general. Off screen, assisted play. Dribble handoff, assisted play. We see 22 and 21. That's why they give up so many assists, is because of the fact of how they play defense. So I really like this one for Jokic. We're going Jokic triple-double, plus 105 odds at Bet365. All right, for our fourth pick, we're going to stick in the same game, Kings versus Nuggets. I'm going to go with Jonas Valanciunas, and I'm actually going to take him on the rebounds plus assists. So I got this minus 106 odds, no line movement, at least at the time of this recording. So hopefully by the time you're actually watching this, there's still no line movement. I will say, if you don't want to wait for line movement, you just want to lock stuff in early, I do have a dub club where I send all my plays out for $5 a month. So basically wait for you to get them early or away if you don't care about the YouTube video to still lock in bangers, stuff like that. But Jonas Valanciunas on the RA, 13.5. This is one of those plays where you can't look at the season-long hit rate. He averages 10. He's hit it 3 of his last 24 games, 1 of his last 10. It's all about increased minutes, right? We look at his minutes, which is what this blue line is showing you. We see a spike in these last 2 games. You want to know what happened? In those last 2 games, Domantas Sabonis got hurt in this game, and then this is the first game without him. And Sabonis is still out for this game as well. Domantas Sabonis out. And Monk is actually questionable as well, which doesn't really impact the RA for Valanciunas, so really no concerns there. But in these 2 games, 30 minutes, 23 minutes. Now, he missed it in one of those games, this Mavericks game, where he had 9 rebounds on 18 rebound chances. I'll gladly take 18 rebound chances and need for him to collect more than half of those rebound chances in a good matchup against a Nuggets player, a Nuggets team like Jokic, who's going to keep him around the rim. But if we just look at Valanciunas, look at games in which he's played 23 minutes, which is, I think he's going to play more than that, but let's just call 23 minutes his floor. He's played 23 minutes in 13 games this year, and he's hit the over in 8 of those 13 games. He's averaging 14, so just on what we need him to get. And I like the games he went under, 12, 12, 12, 12. Like, it's 12 in 4 of the 5 games he went under, and then one that wasn't even close. So the floor is not quite hook, but the floor is pretty high. And the matchup is another reason why I really like this one. So the increased minutes is a huge part of it, as is the matchup. So the Nuggets are a team you want to target for center, both rebound and assist props. He's also hit his rebound prop of over 10.5 in 8 of 13 games as well, averaging 11 rebounds per game, averaging 18.5 rebound chances per game, which I like as well. And he missed it in the first 3 games he played 23 minutes. If you look at the last 10 8 of his last 10, 12.7 rebounds in that stretch. 2 of these games were with his current team, the Kings. These games were all when he was on the Wizards, so it's not exactly perfect, but it does just kind of show you how he rebounds in the games he plays heavier minutes. And then the matchup is what I really like as well. The Nuggets are a team you want to target for center rebound props. 7 of 13 to the over doesn't look amazing. 54% hit rate. How much they smoke their over is what entices me. I mean, they average almost 2 rebounds above what their over-under is priced at. And you look at the guys that go over, 10 rebounds on 8.5, 19 rebounds on 13.5, 11 on 8.5, then an under, 23 for Wemby, and then 18 back-to-back games, 18 on 11.5, 23 on 10.5, 2 unders, and then a hook towards the over. It's the only time a player went over by just the 1. So Valanciunas goes over 10.5 rebounds. He's probably getting like 12 plus. So it's a good matchup there. And the best matchup is for his assist. Now the over-under is 2.5, juiced to the gills towards the over. So they're actually expecting him to get like 3 or 4 assists in this one. The hit rate for the assists is a little more hit or miss. It's only 5 of 10 games, exactly 2.5 average per game. It's all about the matchup. We see 14 of 15 centers have hit their assist prop over. Now, this is last, including Mark Williams on February 1st, so it's not looking at the last month. If you look at how Props Madness calculates this, they're looking at the closing line for the game, and then games or players are excluded if they had unusual playing time, no betting lines, or very low average stats, meaning like if they got hurt or something like that. They're kind of taking out the outliers, which is why nothing's happened since February 1st, according to Props Madness. But we look at the assist chart here. I mean, they're a good matchup everywhere. There's no spot on the court where they are not a top 10 matchup for assist props. And for Valanciunas, he doesn't get any of his assists on the corners. And that's where the Nuggets defense technically is strongest, but they're still 23rd. Under the basket, 6th most assists. Inside the perimeter, but not in the RA, 4th most assists. Above the break 3, 7th most assists. And that's 98% of where the assists come from for Valanciunas. So I really like the combined rebounds plus assists for him, which is why I combine them into one bet. 7 of his last 10, averaging 15.2 per game. Only done it twice since he's been a member of the Kings, but again, it's a matchup play here. That's our 4th play. And then our last pick of the video is actually an under. So we're going to an under. It's been a while since I played an under. I really struggled at the beginning of the year in general. And part of where I really struggled is unders. So I should have looked at them a lot more than I have recently. Granted, the one under lean I had yesterday would not have hit, so who knows. Anyways, I'm taking Ja Morant, and I'm taking him under his point prop. Now, I was able to get this at 24.5 at minus 110. It's now 23.5 at minus 115, and I would still take it. Honestly, I would take this down to 22.5 as long as you're getting reasonable odds. I really just don't think this is going to be a scoring game for Ja Morant. Now, the reason why his point prop is normally like 20.5, 21.5. The reason why it's so much higher than what you see on his average is because Jaren Jackson Jr. is out. So he's played 2 games this year without Jaren Jackson Jr., 22 and 24 points. But those matchups are really, really good for Ja Morant. I mean, the Rockets might not seem like it. The Rockets give up a ton of points to guards, the guard position specifically. So it's no surprise that he went over. And then the Utah Jazz, he went under. The Jazz are like one of the best matchups you could possibly dream of, and he still didn't go over 23.5 points. And this matchup against the Thunder is as difficult as it gets. Let's look at their play types. Transition, 2nd best transition defense in the NBA. Now, they do foul. That is their one area of weakness. They will foul. They give up the 3rd most points per game off of free throws. But let's look at the other ones. Pick and roll ball handler, 4th fewest. Isolation, literally the fewest. We hover over the matchup. It's all red. Defensive rank versus play type, 2nd best. Defensive rank versus shot zone, the restricted area, 2nd best. Defensive rating, they have the best defense in the NBA. Points in the paint allowed, the best defense at limiting points in the paint. Defensive rank versus position, the point guard position, number 1. They allow the fewest points per game to point guards. And Ja really only goes over in the matchups where he has a plus matchup. It's the Suns twice. It's the Knicks, who are really bad at guarding point guards. It's the Raptors, the Spurs, the Rockets twice. See, he has good games against the Rockets, the Celtics, the Nets have a bad defense, the Pelicans. In games he's gone up against top 10 defenses, let's just look at points in the paint allowed. Games in which he's gone up against top 10. He's gone over in 2 of 11 games. He averages 18 points per game. In none of those games, I believe, were without Jaren Jackson Jr. Yeah, none of them were without Jaren Jackson Jr. He played in all of those games. So if you're saying he's going to score more with Jaren Jackson Jr., the stats don't really bear that out. And unfortunately, we don't really have any data against bottom 10. If we look at just bottom half, so 15 and under, it's 4 of 16 games. And again, none of them were without Jaren Jackson Jr. So I really like this under for John Morant. I think his RA could go over. So that's why I didn't want to take the under PRA, because I actually think he could have a lot of rebounds and assists in this one. The Thunder, as good as of a defense as they are, the reason why they give up so few points in all these isolation metrics is because they allow a decent amount of assists. So third most points to spot up. Those are assisted. Off screen, half those are assisted. Handoff, they're better. And then they're also a decent matchup for guard rebound props as well. So we see his over under at 4.5 at plus 108. I wasn't going to bet it because I'm way more confident in his point prop over. But if I wanted to do like a negative, or maybe it's not even negative correlation, but like a John Morant SGP, take his under 25 points, take his over on like 10 plus RA. And you could probably get a decent price on that because I really like it for John Morant. And we see like in tough matchups, his RA hits at like a 62.5% rate. And I could see his RA actually going up with Jaren Jackson Jr. So those are our 5 official bangers for today. In terms of leans, I do want to give out some leans for you guys. Again, for this Heat Cavs one, it really just depends on who ends up playing. I really like the matchup and the look for Max Strus. He's been pretty good. 14 of 24 games to the over. The Heat are a team you want to target for catch and shoot guys. 8th most points per game via spot up. He's had some success against them. Only 8 points, but he took 11 shots, 9 3-pointers. That's fine. Like I know he went under. He would have hooked his points of 8.5, and he took a ton of shots. So when I say had success against them, I meant like the volume. So that would be a good look. If Davion Mitchell ends up sitting, then I'm probably going to pivot to someone either Duncan or Alec Burks. Probably Duncan on the PRA, but that's only if Davion misses. But I did really like that one. The Celtics game, we need to know who's playing. I honestly like Anthony Simons has a good matchup, but I hate betting on him after these 2 good performances in a row. Like he just put up 27 and 34 points. His shooting wasn't amazing, but aside from the 6 of 11 from deep, the real play here that I want to lock in is Deni Avdija probably on the points, rebounds, assists, or just the points plus rebounds, but only if Jeremy Grant sits. That's the biggest thing. So Jeremy Grant missed last game. He's currently questionable. With Grant out of the lineup, Deni averages 24 points plus rebounds. His over-under is 21.5. So if you want to get ahead of this, you could lock in Deni because he could honestly cash even with Jeremy Grant in the lineup. The rebounds is the stat that I like the best. Last night, I was debating betting Deni Avdija rebounds. It was 5.5 at minus 115. I should have pulled the trigger because that is an amazing hit rate without Jeremy Grant. But it's a lot hit or miss if you just include everything. But I really like the look, especially for the rebounds for Deni, and then the points is really good without Jeremy Grant. The matchup looks scary. I mean, top 5, top 2 in terms of the top 3 play types. But the next 2, pick and roll ball handler and isolation, and that's where a lot of the increase in points comes from for Deni Avdija, is with the ball in his hands a lot, and that's where the Celtics defense is weakest. And the Celtics, I mean, they're going to be possibly missing 2 of their top. I mean, look at all these questionable guys. It's really Porzingis and Drew Holiday who are in risk of missing, in my opinion. Meaning that if they're off the floor, there's going to be a defender that somebody can target for Deni Avdija. So I like the look on him a lot. Again, it's only really if Jeremy Grant is out, so that's just something to monitor. But that's all we got. 5 official bangers plus a couple leans for you guys to lock in. Real quick, I'll recap the plays that we have. It's Davion Mitchell over 14.5 PRA. It's John Morant under 24.5 or under 23.5 points, which is what you guys were able to lock in. Valanciunas over 13.5 rebounds plus assists. And Jokic triple-double. And Filipowski double-double. So Jokic triple-double, Kyle Filipowski double-double as our last 2 bets. 5 bangers for you guys. Really like what we have in store for tonight. It feels like we're going to have a good night. Let's hope that happens. Reminder to like the video, comment, subscribe. Check out the links in the description of the video as well as the pinned comment. I have 2 links in there. Link to Props Madness, who I just talked about how much I love them. Link to my Dub Club, which I mentioned is where I send all my plays out. So there are certain plays that, like, if the lines change, the way I the way I combat that is by having a Dub Club. So like I can't help it if I'm recording and the line moves, or if by the time recording to posting the lines changed. That's why I have the Dub Club. So if you're interested in getting all that stuff sent to you early, Dub Club, $5 a month. If not, no problem. all given out for free on YouTube and on Twitter. But that's all we got. I appreciate everybody for watching, and have a good one.